If change was easy, we'd all be doing it. And adaptation to change has been listed as one of the #1 attributes of successful people. So why do so many find it so hard to change? And what can you do about it if that's you? Watch this video and I'm going to be sharing with you the keys to understanding change and how to make it easier. First of all, we have to understand where our resistance to change comes from. A lot of people think, oh, well, I hate change, but they don't know why. And once you have context for that, it gives you power over understanding and therefore power to do something about it. And it has a lot to do with our nervous system and our biology. See, as human beings, we have a nervous system that is hardwired for comfort, and it's also hardwired to preserve calories. That's because 10,000 years ago, we had a lack of calories. We didn't know where our next one was coming from. We didn't waste energy in vain, neither does nature. Not like today where we have an overabundance of calories. So therefore, we start to have a biology that takes the path of least resistance, and we call that a comfort zone. The thing with a comfort zone is it's not very comfortable the longer you stay in it. Have you noticed? Because it's so inconsistent with who you really are. And who we are is not our biology. Who we are has more to do with aligning with the true purpose behind life, which is the ability to grow and contribute. Everything in nature grows and contributes, or it's taken out of the food chain. So if we think life is a comfort-centric experience, we are going to have a relationship to change that already off the get-go says it's hard. It's like having a global belief about something. Let's say you had a global belief that all men are untrustworthy, or all women are untrustworthy, whatever it is. You're using that one belief, and through those lenses, you're now relating to every man and woman who clearly doesn't fit that belief in reality, but for you, that's how you see the world. If you say change is hard, every time you go to change, or are required to change, then your relationship to it is already going to be filtered through that lens, and you're going to set yourself up to fail rather than setting yourself up to win. When we realize that life is growth-centric, we can expect change. In fact, change is the only constant. And when we get out of our comfort zone, which is not a comfort zone, it's a familiarity zone, we get comfortable with what we're familiar with. And that leads us on to the second key for dealing with change. Understanding that our relationship to uncertainty is linked to our fear of failure. Everybody is scared of failing because a lot of the time society has conditioned you to think that if you fail at something, you are a failure. And that's just not true. If that was the case, everybody would be single and nobody would risk asking somebody out on a date. The human race would die. No, if you knew that the fourth person that you asked out was going to be your dream relationship, what are you going to do? Stay at home, miserable and lonely? Or are you going to say, wow, how fast can I get through those first 3 rejections so that I can get to that dream relationship? If I was to tell you that the third business on average is the one that makes people financially independent, you can say, well, I'm not going to go through 3 business failures at all because I can't deal with that. Well, great, go work for somebody else for the rest of your life. But understand that the people that are successful are the ones that realize that they have to adapt to the uncertainty that those first 2 failures are going to present to them. They realize that their relationship to failure is not personal. Just because a business fails, an idea fails, a relationship fails, doesn't mean to say that you fail. If you are linking your self-worth to your ability for it to be successful in business, or your ability to ask out somebody on a date and not be rejected, you are always going to be resisting change. Now, the other aspect, the final aspect to understand, is the rule of inertia. Isaac Newton's first law, which essentially says that objects in motion tend to stay in motion until acted upon by a greater force. The simple way of saying that is change is hard because it's always easier to be where you are. And it kind of links back to what I said about the biology. We're programmed by evolution to conserve energy rather than waste it. When we come to understand that our cells of our body become habitual, same as our thought, we act out a certain way. You don't think anymore about how you move your body to brush your teeth. It's not conscious. It's been handed over to the midbrain where it runs runs on a pattern. So if you get into habits that are inconsistent with the greatest potential of who you are going to get into that familiarity zone and you're going to sell out on your future. If you really want to embrace change, you realize that that's just the habits that you've picked up. Just like a 2-year-old has certain habits of sucking their thumb. A teenager has certain habits of lying in bed until it's too late to get up or they want to watch video games. You just grow out of it. If you are mentally associated with your old habits, you're going to resist the change because the inertia that is built up is going to trap you there. Again, it isn't you. It's like having the tartar on top of the teeth. The teeth are great, you're great. You just need to chip away at the tartar or the plaque and reveal those great pearly whites underneath. Your pearly white success is being hidden by a whole load of plaque called your negative habits and your resistance to change. So when we start to realize that the best way to really get out there is to realize that you are not your failures, it is your resistance to change that is governed by your biology. And at that point, you realize that life is a growth-centric experience, not a comfort-centric experience. That way you can start opening up and realizing change is actually good. Some people require change in order to have a better life than the one they've got now. Variety is a big part of that. You don't want to eat the same breakfast every day, the same lunch every day, have the same kind of sex, go to the same kind of holidays. We want variety. When we realize that that kind of change we want, we can start to associate who we're becoming with really finding out the best way to embrace change so we can live the life we were born to live. Remember, if you don't learn how to embrace change, you're going to be left behind. Life is full of two things, challenge and opportunity. They run side by side. Has been for the last 5,000 years, it will be for the next 5,000 years. The people that really get on are the ones that understand how to break through that. Now, if you'd like to learn more about that and attend a free masterclass where I can teach you the 5 key shifts on how to implement that, so you'll never self-sabotage, procrastinate, or sell out on your potential or your comfort zone again, then click the link below and I'll see you in class.